St. Louis Cardinals, and you're listening to WICR.
All right, we are back for our final segment of the day, and we are looking ahead to Week 2 in the NFL. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to basically touch on every game, but spend a little more time on the marquee games. So we will start it right off at 1 o'clock on Sunday. We have the Miami Dolphins, and I'm looking at Armand right over the screen, the Dolphins fan here, against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. You know, both teams 1-0, looked pretty good week 1. I see this matchup going either way. These two teams always find a way to finish right around 500. Each battle with them is really a crapshoot.
Yeah, it'll be a good game, but I think Dolphins coming off that win against the Patriots, they have more than enough momentum to take out the Bills, even if it's an away game for them. I'll pick Dolphins.
Yeah, and the nice thing for them is that they're not having to go up to Buffalo when it's December and freezing out there, and a lot different from Miami temperature. So really, I could see the Dolphins taking this game. I mean, I know a few years ago the Dolphins did start off, I think maybe last year they started off like 3-0, and it was like, wow, the Dolphins are looking pretty good, and then of course they fell off. But just for argument's sake, I'll go with the Bills because they're at home. Then we have Redskins and Jaguars, both teams 0-1. Neither team looking that good. Well, the Jaguars for the first half of their game against the Eagles. The Redskins not really looking too good in their game. I'm going Jacksonville. I'm liking them. I'm seeing some nice improvements from Jacksonville this year.
Yeah, there's progress there, and I'll go Jacksonville too. Chad Henne to Allen Hurns, maybe that'll be come around again this week. Who knows?
Now we're shipping over to Tennessee, where we have the Titans hosting the Cowboys. The Cowboys 0-1. Titans very impressive going into Kansas City, pulling out a win there. Yeah, I don't know whether to buy into Tennessee or to say that was a fluke.
Don't buy in, but buy in for this week because it's the Cowboys, and they're not gonna go into Tennessee and win. They can't. Tennessee played very well against the Chiefs. Jake Locker played very well. He was throwing all day. Dexter McCluster had a huge impact against his former team, the Chiefs, and I think he'll do it again against the Cowboys. Tony Romo's got to figure it out. A lot of interceptions last week.
I think Tony Romo and DeMarco Murray both have to have statement games this week. I think the two of them have to come in and say, hey, we are the leaders of this team, and they have to prove it. And I see them doing that this week, and I'm taking Dallas. Now, the Giants, the hometown Giants, coming off of that pretty much almost embarrassing Monday night loss in Detroit, going up against the Cardinals, who had a very impressive Monday night this past week at MetLife Stadium. Hey, we were talking about the Cardinals in the last segment. They're legit, and they're going to come out and win this game and start the season off 2-0.
Yeah, I got to sorry to all my Giants fans out there, but Billy Roth, my friend, he called me out for talking bad about the Cardinals last week, so I'm going to have to pick them. Watch out for Andre Ellington against that Giants defense.
Yeah, it's pretty cut and dry that Arizona should take this game on the road. Now, the Saints and the Browns, a matchup of two 0-1 teams. A lot of people probably weren't expecting the Saints to be 0-1 at this point. Cleveland, they came out and said Johnny Manziel is not going to play this week unless Brian Hoyer gets injured. Very much sticking with Hoyer early in the year. You know, the Cleveland Browns, I could see them pulling this game out.
At home, yeah, definitely. I mean, I like the fact that they are shying away from the Manziel. They said maybe this Manziel package was coming out earlier in the week. Yesterday they dismissed it, said it's not coming out. I think that's smart. I think they need to let Brian Hoyer play his game, focus, and that's the best way for them to win right now.
They can't cut or not cut Hoyer, but bench Hoyer after 1 week. I mean that no, and they did well against Pittsburgh in week 1, and I'm liking Cleveland this week. I think the Saints. Yeah, you have Drew Brees and Jimmy Graham, and that's a great offense. But I could very much see Cleveland pulling out a win here. Staying in with those two divisions, and we have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Atlanta Falcons. Both of them 1-0. This is a good matchup, but you have to go the Bengals. They're such a solid team, and with Atlanta, you really don't know what you're gonna get.
Definitely. Falcons on the road, definitely a crapshoot there. I like the way the Bengals play at home. Andy Dalton, AJ Green, it's actually just amazing, really, and I think they pull this one out for sure.
Now, going to my New England Patriots, going to Minnesota to play the Vikings, the 1-0 Vikings, I should mention. I don't see Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and the Patriots starting the season off 0-2.
No, I have to agree with you there. I wish they would, but I don't think so. We'll see if the O-line's going to not switch up, but we're going to see if they can protect Brady better this week.
Yeah, and, a key thing now, right, is Jared Allen's not with the Vikings anymore?
No.
So that's one major pass rush that they don't have to worry about with Minnesota. So, hey, hopefully Brady will get a lot better protection this week.
I think what you'll see quick passes from Brady this week, avoiding any chance of him getting hit or pressured. That's what you're going to see. Quick passes to Gronk. Look for him.
And the slot receivers, really, that's where the Patriots have had their success the last few years, going back to the Welker days, and then last year with Edelman. Really, I think they need to reestablish that and show we're a quick passing team. We don't go for the long bombs, and that'll, one, protect Brady, and two, get the receivers out in space and let them work their magic.
Right, and even open up the running game for Vereen.
Exactly. And now the final 1 o'clock game of the week, we have the Detroit Lions at the Carolina Panthers. Both of them 1-0. Carolina questionable. We don't know whether Cam Newton will be playing for them. And the Lions looked great in their week 1 against the Giants. Granted, it was against the Giants, who are not the premier of the elite, but I think you have to buy into the Lions. I'm buying into them. I'm buying into them early in the year. I think they're gonna find a way to not make anything out of this season, but they're gonna start off 2-0.
I'm gonna go Panthers. I think as long as Cam Newton plays, his homecoming for this first season opener for him, if he plays, I think in front of the home crowd they'll pull out a win against the Lions.
Now, jump into the 4 o'clock games. Tampa Bay hosting St. Louis. Tampa Bay, I was looking forward to them getting a win last week against Carolina without Cam Newton. Josh McCown still had a very efficient game. I think they're gonna pull this one out. I know the Rams have a good defense, but I don't see them scoring enough points, and I see Tampa Bay taking this game.
Yeah, it just doesn't. It's not going to work out for the Rams between losing Bradford and they just lost Chris Long on that defense now. It's not looking good for them right now. I'll take the Buccaneers too.
Now we have the Texans and the Raiders. The Texans had a nice week 1. I'm buying into them. The Raiders continued their struggles on the East Coast last week, losing to the Jets. The Texans, they're a solid team. Yeah, they had a very bad year last year, but keep in mind that was 1 year removed from 12-4. So I'm liking the Texans in this game.
Yeah, even in Oakland, I got the Texans. No MJD for the Raiders this week. We'll see how they do without him.
Now, jumping over, we have, speaking of the Jets going to Green Bay. The Jets 1-0, and the Packers 0-1, but having such a tough test opening night in Seattle. I think the Pack have a huge game here and pull this victory out pretty comfortably.
I'll definitely take the Jets. I think an easy win for the Jets this week. But in all seriousness, Packers definitely have the advantage. More rest than the Jets. They played Thursday night, so I think they're waiting for the Jets now, and I think they might really do a number on that Jets team, but we'll see.
And speaking of who the Packers played, the Seahawks going to San Diego. You know, San Diego, they start off slow, and Seattle's just so good. I got the Seahawks here.
Yeah, that secondary is going to eat up Phillip Rivers, I think. I don't see him playing too well, and I think the Seahawks are just going to click again, and I feel bad for the Chargers this week. I feel bad for any team that the Seahawks have to play this year. I really do.
Seattle looks just like they did last year. Just such a tough, great team. And Seattle winning the Super Bowl last year over the Denver Broncos. The Broncos hosting the Chiefs on Sunday. The Chiefs, who had a very rough week 1, only putting up 10 points, and their defense getting 2 huge blows. This one could be ugly.
Yeah, definitely. I think even the fact that they lost a linebacker and a nose tackle, I think the run game, Monty Ball might be able to make some noise out there this week. Take the pressure off Peyton Manning.
And if you know the Denver passing game is going to be good.
Yeah.
But when the Denver run game is good, plus the passing game, they're putting up a lot of points.
Yep. There's no stopping them at that point.
They're going to light up the scoreboard. Now we have the 2 primetime games, 2 great matchups. Chicago Bears at San Francisco 49ers on Sunday night. The Bears really found a way to lose to the Bills week 1, and the Niners are the Niners. You have to take them. In the first game at Levi's Stadium, I'm going the Niners. The Niners show the Bears how it's done at home.
Yeah, I agree. Tough loss for the Bears. I think they'll play well, but they won't be able to pull it off in San Francisco.
And now, finally, the last matchup of Week 2 coming to a close on Monday night. The Philadelphia Eagles going to the Indianapolis Colts Lucas Oil Stadium. I think the Colts bounce back and defend home turf and finally get a win this season.
I'm going to go the Eagles for this one. I think they're going to come out and play 4 quarters this week, and they win this one against the Colts. Nick Foles is going to play very well.
They could put up points, but really, Andrew Luck is just such a good quarterback that I don't see him and the Colts falling to 0-2. I say they find a way to take this.
I want to see Trent Richardson. Trent Richardson has to play well, open up the passing game for Andrew Luck, and at that point, then the Colts will definitely win. They could still win without it, but that'll make it a lot easier for them. Yeah,
Richardson struggled week 1, 6 carries, 20 yards, no touchdowns. I think he'll do just fine this week though, and as you said, yeah, that's going to be a key. But between Reggie Wayne and Hakeem Nicks and Kobe Fleener in the
T.Y. Hilton too.
How can I forget about T.Y. Hilton? With those receivers, I just see Andrew Luck putting together a really nice game and bringing the Eagles down to 500. So both teams will be 1-1 after Monday night. Well, that is all the time that we have for this week. It has been great to catch up on all of our NFL news. We will be right back here next week, high noon, Friday, to talk some sports with Ian and Jack.
This is the New York Football Radio Network. 12:30 to 1:30 on WICR.